Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Eileen from Makeup Eileen. If you're already subscribed to this channel, welcome back guys. So for today's video, it's not a new foundation, but it's definitely new to me. And it is the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundations Last Up to 24 hours. It's mattifying, water and sweat proof, and feels like a second skin. It's this guy over here. I've been wanting to try it out for a really long time and just haven't actually gone out and got it. So it arrived yesterday and I thought, let's test it out and do a 12-hour wear test and see how it compares. I am more oily, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it a lot more than the Catrice True Skin Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation, which I absolutely love. So it's no shade to that one, I absolutely love it. But this is a mattifying formula, so I'd like to give this guy a try and see what it's all about. So I'm going to prime my skin like I would always do it. I'm obsessed with this Hello Good Stuff 3-in-1 face mist from Essence with watermelon extract like that. I normally spritz it all over my face, but it's a very tacky formula, so it gets all over my chest and makes me feel sticky for the day. So what I found works best for me is if I just spray 2 generous pumps in my hand and actually just press it into my skin and put it on my face where I actually want it, not like, and a little bit obviously down the neck. And while that's drying down, I've just realized I don't have my pore filling primer. I'm just going to grab my quick. Okay, so now that that's getting really tacky, like you can actually, it like really is sticky, I'm going to grab my Wet n Wild Impossible primer base. I'm just going to put that basically in my T-zone, so just like over here, and I'm just going to, and I like to use like the primers that I know work best for my skin when testing a new foundation. I don't like to test, I have a new primer that I want to test, but I don't want to test out a new primer when we're testing out a new foundation. Okay, so I picked up the shade, I did purchase this online, so I'm hoping and praying that this shade works. It's 036 Hazelnut Beige, so I'm hoping this is going to be a decent color match. Otherwise we're just gonna have to work with it. I am actually going to town today, so there's that. Let's just give it a good shake. It's a very nice sturdy glass bottle. You do get 30 mils. I think I got this on special for 100 rand. It's in a nice little pump dropper. I'm just going to put some in. This is supposed to be a very high coverage foundation, so I don't want to use too much. I am going to grab, can't reach it, I'm going to grab a foundation brush and just like a flat kabuki brush. That looks like a pretty decent shade, and I'm just going to work that into the skin. It doesn't feel like I'm actually putting foundation on my skin, so that's a nice feeling. I'm just going to work it down the neck. But wow, this is quite a good color match. It's definitely more liquidy than the hydrating hyaluronic acid foundation from them, but doesn't, it's like got coverage. It just doesn't feel, I feel like I'm putting like primer or moisturizer on my face, and a little bit seems to go a really long way. But because this is such a good color match, I'm actually like, have I even put anything on my face? Let's scooch this mirror closer. I don't know if you guys, I hope you guys can see on camera, but it's pretty, obviously there's no light down here, but the color match is like really good. It definitely is a lot more mattifying than the other foundation, the True Skin foundation, but I mean that's supposed to be a hydrating foundation anyway. Okay, I am going to put a little drop on my beauty sponge, just a tiny little, like 2 or 3 drops, and I'm just going to see if I can build up the coverage a little bit more. Not that it needs it, it's definitely a more medium coverage, but I think the more you apply, the more you could get it to a full coverage, like a full coverage. I prefer a medium to light coverage foundation. I just have a little bit of pigmentation as I'm aging over here. So just want to see if that covers it up. Wow, like I've literally just applied this. Obviously I'm using my primer that I enjoy, but I mean, flip, this looks really good. This is what the skin looks like with no powder, no concealer, and I must admit I'm really impressed. Like, why is it taking me so long to get this foundation in my collection? Like, I'm so impressed. I'm actually going to town. I think I'm going to go get another color. Well, not another color, another bottle as a backup in case they don't decide to discontinue this, which I hope they don't. Okay, I'm going to use, like in any foundation wear test, I like to see how my cream products, also I have eyelash sticking in the eye. I like to see how my cream products work with it, and I'm just going to use my Catrice True Skin concealer because it is my favorite concealer. I'm not a very fussy concealer person. I know there's some people out there that are like super fussy on what concealer they like. I think it's because I don't have like dark lines under my eyes, so it doesn't really bother me. This is in the shade 002 Neutral Ivory, and I'm just going to grab to see how my bronzer. I used the L'Oreal Fit Me in number 45 as like a bronzer. I prefer to use a cream bronzer than a powder bronzer. At the moment, it's just how I like to do it, just to get some warmth in the skin. That one's cute. Just to apply a little bit of bronzer. And while the concealer's sitting, I'm just going to take my foundation brush and just blend in that bronze shade. And I just like to stamp it in, like to move it around too much. So I just like to press in the color. I'm just going to work it in my cheek, bring it a little bit down, but keeping it more. This is actually, I love this concealer as a bronzer, and I must say it's blending in even better than it normally does. So I can only assume this has something to do with the foundation, because man, and this foundation literally feels like I have nothing on my skin, which is really cool. So I'm going to take my beauty sponge and just blend in the darker shade on the nose. And on the bottom lip. And then blend in that concealer. I like to leave my concealer sit a little bit. It just helps get more coverage to the concealer. Even this concealer is looking like better than it normally does, and I pretty much reach for this concealer on a daily basis, so it's interesting. I think I've just found my new favorite foundation. I have tried the Catrice matte foundation, like the thick matte foundation, and I was thinking of picking that up because when I did try it, it was way too light. I think I got it in shade Ivory for some unknown reason, and it was way too light. So even though I liked the formula, it was just too light for me to actually wear. Okay, I'm going to go in with my favorite setting powder, the Febble Loose setting powder, and I'm just going to grab some and grab my. Before we do that, I'm just going to spritz my face with setting spray real quick, and then just press it into the skin. I find that this really helps lock in your foundation and concealer. It's a new little trick that I've been doing and really loving. And then before it's completely dry, I like to take my powder puff and just press in the powder and focusing on the middle of my face, and then buffing, well, patting it out to the outer part of the face, because obviously I get oily, but more oily in the T-zone than anywhere else. So I like to concentrate the most of the powder over there, and then just set the rest of my face. And I do use quite a bit of powder, so, but I do get extremely oily. But man, like even if I'm looking close in the mirror, this foundation seems to be like even blurring my pores, and I have quite large pores, so I don't know why my foundation looks. Let me just see if I can turn down these lights quickly. It just seems to look, I think that's a bit better, hey? Yeah, that's a bit more natural. The light just seems to like wash out my skin on camera and make me look extremely light, which, I mean, this is literally the perfect shade for my skin, so my face is looking a little bit too light. Okay, so once that's all pressed in, I'm going to go ahead off camera. I'm going to quickly put a little bit of eyes on my brows, some bronzer, some blush, and I'll get back with my final thoughts, first impression thoughts on this foundation, and then we're going to do a wear test. Guys, I've just done a very soft, natural eye look. I've bronzed up the face, I put some blush on, mascara, some lips. I just want to show you guys how this foundation is looking with everything layered on top, everything blended, super awesome, like way better than what it normally does. I'm just going to do my last step on camera. I take my beauty sponge and my setting spray, and I just give a little 2 squirts to it and dampen the beauty sponge, and then just press it in to my skin, obviously starting in your T-zone and working your way out on your skin. I've just figured out that this sets your foundation so much better. It also prevents your skin from looking super cakey with all the powder, especially us oily girls, and it just lasts so much better. Then the last step I do is I just take whatever's left on my powder puff and it just gently press into the skin again, just to make sure it's all dried down. And that's how I have been setting my face. So my first impressions on applying this foundation, it is a very lightweight feeling foundation. It definitely does dry down more to a matte skin finish, slightly more matte than your normal skin would look, but it is super awesome. It is a very full coverage foundation. It definitely can be built up, so if you put a layer on and you leave it for a while and then put another layer on, you'll definitely get a very full coverage foundation. A little bit goes a long way. I think it's because it's such a runny formula, it spreads through your face very easily. It does feel super moisturizing on the skin, but leaves your skin feeling like set, like your foundation is on. I'm going to do a 12-hour wear test. I'm going to put the time up now, what the time is at the moment, and then I'll see you in about 6 hours at about 3 o'clock more or less, and then I'll see you again at 9. But this foundation is flippin' awesome. I'm so sorry I never looked into it sooner, but it is what it is, and we're all learning together. This really looks awesome on the skin. I've used my everyday normal primers, which makes my skin look good, but with this foundation it just looks even better. So that's that. I just want to show you guys, when you set your foundation with the beauty blender or your beauty sponge and you spray the setting spray on and you do this, there is literally nothing that comes off on the tissue. Like, you can touch your face and almost nothing comes off on your tissue. So I thought I would share that with you guys. This is how I've been setting my face. I saw a little TikTok hack and it definitely does work better than just all over your face. Also, you're saving your setting spray because you're not using 500 pumps on your face. So anyway, that's that for our first impressions, and I'll see you guys in a few hours. Okay guys, so it's been 6 hours already with this foundation on. It is not breaking apart on my nose or anywhere. It's getting a little bit shiny, but it is very hot, and I have been in town with a mask on and running a few errands and running around like a headless chicken, so that's understandable, but it still looks good. It's not separating in my nose or in my fine lines. The foundation is not coming off of my nose or anything like that. So this is us doing pretty well with our 6-hour wear test so far, and I'll see you in another 6 hours. Hey guys, okay, it's been 12 hours. It is currently 9 o'clock in the evening. I'm extremely exhausted. It's been a crazy day, and this is what the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage foundation looks like on my skin. It looks like I have just put it on. Yes, it's a little bit more shiny than what it was earlier, but it is gorgeous. It is hands down at the moment my favorite go-to foundation. It is staying on the top of my makeup desk, and I'll be using it a lot more. I have some new primers I want to test out, so I'll be using this because I know this is an awesome foundation for I think it's 160 rand. It's not bad at all. It is really worth its money. It definitely lasts all day. Unfortunately, I can't do 24-hour wear test because I'm never going to get through it. But 12 hours in, it is not broken apart the nose. It has not come over my nose or on my top lip where I do have some problems with foundation breaking apart. It's lasted the whole day. I have been shopping, I have been to cricket matches, I have fetched kids, I've taken kids to school, I've been running around all day. It has been hot as hell here and extremely humid, and it is still looking extremely gorgeous, and it doesn't feel like I have anything on my skin, so it feels really natural and gorgeous on the skin. So that's that for this video. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to this channel if you're not already yet subscribed. And I hope you guys have a super awesome day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.